As we celebrate Mother's Day, I am thrilled to speak with another remarkable woman who has achieved an incredible feat by becoming a CPA at her 50s. Her story is a testament to the power of perseverance, hard work, and the support of her family. I am excited to dive deeper into her journey and hear her insights. Hello, I am Priyansha Prasad, the host for today's interview, and let's welcome our very special guest for today, Madam Seeta Ravi. Welcome, ma'am. So glad to be in conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Priya. Can I call you Priya?
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's lovely to hear you speak. Yeah, go right ahead. Yes.
The pleasure is all ours. So let's start with the first question that I have for you.
Yes.
Can you tell us about a moment or person in your life that inspired you to pursue a career in accounting and finance, and what drew you to this field?
Yeah. Lot of accidents, twists and turns in my life. So the one thing that I knew is I didn't want to take up science. Chemistry was not my cup of tea. Okay, so I was thinking I would take up arts. I was happy in my thought. Nobody in my house had any ambition for me, probably because I was a girl. And this is, we are talking of 30, 35 years ago. So I think, I was just going to pursue a graduation. My parents had made their peace with it, so they did not bother. So a friend of mine told me that she was going to take commerce, a close friend of mine. That's because her dad had done research and had said that there was promise in this field, and he was insisting that she take commerce. So she was a good friend of mine. So I said, okay, so her dad had done research, so it must be, a good field. So I just jumped along with her, and I was going to have the company of a good friend of mine. So together we would go to college and things like that. So I just didn't do any further research. I just went and applied for commerce, and I got it. And the interesting thing is I loved accounting. It was, during my school days, I hadn't spent so much I wasn't that focused in academics. So that eighth standard was my sixth school. My dad was in a transferable job, so it was every other year was a new school.
Right.
So this starting commerce after 10th, when I it was a level playing field for me. So it was a new subject and new things, and it opened new opportunities for me, and I fell in love with accounting.
Wow.
And that is a lifelong journey. I just loved accounting, and within a couple of years I had made up my mind that I want to do CA. That is because I looked at masters and that did not have enough accounting. I was the first chartered accountant in my family, and I decided to pursue CA, and I was quite passionate about it. And I finished my CA in 3 years after my degree. So that is how it's been for me. Yes, thank you.
That's awesome. Looks like you were destined to be into this accounting and finance field.
Yes, it
So,
looks like that.
I would like to know what were some of the biggest challenges you faced while pursuing the CPA certification, and how did you stay motivated and overcome them?
So I have to step back a little bit to tell you how I started my CPA journey. So after post-qualification, I did a couple of years in audit. I worked with A.F. Ferguson, which is now Deloitte. They were a KPMG representative firm then. Then I had a long innings with Infosys. I spent almost a dozen years there. I had a good career with a lot of opportunities. The company was growing 100% at that time. I did some great work. I worked in, and then I wore multiple hats. I started in corporate finance, went into delivery finance, became an ERP consultant, became a financial controller. And I left Infosys to start my own venture. And my children were young, and we didn't have that much flexibility those days. You had to be in office all the time. And I left the company when my daughters were 10 and 7. So many people actually asked me, hey, you know what, your kids are already grown up. Why are you leaving now? So that brings me to the story of being a mother when I went through challenges and had pursued a long career. But then I felt that the demands on my career started increasing while I was going up in my corporate ladder. And then I felt I had to give a more quality time, and I needed a little bit of flexibility. And there was zero flexibility those days. And therefore, I thought if I started my own venture, I would have a little more time. So therefore, I started in a different field altogether. I started in a hotel industry. I ran a boutique hotel with boarding and lodging. So I ran a 33 unit hotel for another dozen years. And then things changed. And then I decided my children had grown up. And then I thought, okay, it's time to shut shop, let go of that business and go back to my earlier passion. It is finance and accounting and things like that. So then I was thinking, my kids had there was no requirement for me to spend that much time on my kids. So I said, I'm free now. Let me, look back to joining in a corporate. I had thought I had retired, okay, when I left that, left Infosys.
Not so soon.
Yeah, then I thought, okay, if I have to go back to the corporate world, I need to be able to, reskill myself. So I was looking at thinking of restarting my career, and guess what? COVID happened. And then where, things were shutting down and there was no opportunity and things. And I started thinking, and I opened the net to see how do I reskill and where should I reskill and where should I start now? And there it comes that CPA has been just announced in India and they're going to conduct exams here. So I just picked up the phone. I spoke to somebody and then they said, okay, if you're a CA, you should be able to do CPA. The only problem is it was 30 years since I had finished my CA. There was a little problem.
Quite a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And but I didn't think about it that way. When they told me you can do it, I just believed and just jumped into it. And then before I took the decision on whom to go with, I said, okay, my daughter told me, Amma, if you're going to study again, you should do it with the best. And then I did Googled, and then Simandhar is what I chose. I said, the best people are Simandhar. And I did a little more research, and I found a lot of ratings, students saying that they had a great experience. I spoke to Simandhar, and I'm so glad that I did it with Simandhar, because there was an ecosystem that helped me. There was a group, student community, and then we felt free to ask questions and clarify our doubts, and students were very helpful. And Shripal actually encouraged this, sharing of thoughts and sharing of ideas and clearing doubts. I think that made a lot of difference. So I think that's what kept me going. And believe it or not, it was not easy because it was COVID time. So there was no support, and I had a full house. While I thought my kids had flown away, they all came back to the nest, and we were a full house and we didn't have enough support. But then my husband was very supportive. So he said, okay, if you want to do it, I will encourage you, go right ahead. And he chipped in. So that made a difference for me at home front. But it was not easy to sit down and open my books, concentrate, sit in one place for hours together. And I
can imagine.
And I also realized that when you're a student, you're in touch with so many subjects. But when you start working, you focus on some area and specialize in certain things. To come back and pick up everything and have that speed like the next student, and most of them were younger than my kids. Okay. So I think Simandhar did the trick. And the first exam I took was regulation. So it was also a passion to study. So I loved learning I think I did the right thing doing CPA, because what happened was it's new subject and new taxes, new laws. A lot of things had changed in 30 years.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of rules, a lot of laws, new regulations, things like that. So I think taking regulation first was a good masterstroke for me. I scored a 92, and that kept me going, helped me stay focused. So yeah, that's I just kept at it, and then the results were there to see. As they started the exams in June, I started in September, and I was done in July or something. So I just
Wow, we just can't have enough of your achievements, and we are equally glad that you chose us. And you definitely have a very remarkable professional career. But as a mother, how did you balance your family responsibilities with your pursuit of the CPA certification? And what role did Simandhar play in your success?
yeah. COVID times was not easy. My kids were back in the house, so I had to play my mother's role on a regular daily basis, because they had flown and they had done their graduation, but they all came back, and then they had their own disappointments and good things that were happening. So I had to give my shoulder for them to sometimes cry, be supportive of what happened. Like my second daughter, she had got an internship in ANU, Australia, the #1 university there. She had
Yeah,
won a competitive internship. So there were about 30
wow,
or so selected across India. She was one of them. She looked forward to going, visa and everything was done. And then
done.
it shut down. So she was upset here. My older daughter had to go to US for her master's. And that, US embassy
Didn't
shut down.
happen.
So that didn't happen. So she was crying on my other shoulder. I had to balance the two of them. And yeah, so, and it was lonely for them because they were by now had moved out of home, and they had friends around, and now they were all lonely. So but then we bonded together as a family. But then
Family, yeah.
it was demanding, and there was one day when I counted, there were 4 breakfast, 4 lunch, and 4 dinner, because each one had their own schedule. They would get up at their own time. I had to do. So it was tough, but then I wanted to spend the time with them also. I mean, they could have, they were old enough to have their own breakfast, lunch, or whatever, but then you also want to be around and speak to them and
Yeah.
things like that. But what worked for me was, I'm a morning bird. So I started getting up early. By the time the others woke up in the house, I had done a good 4+ hours of studies. Half my studies for the day was done.
Was done.
Yes.
Wow.
So that really helped me. Even the exam, if I had to take a mock exam, I would do it at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was done at 8:30. That was how I did it. But yes, it was tough. My husband chipped, and he was very supportive, so that also worked. And Simandhar, I think, gave, like I mentioned before, was very helpful, and some of the students there went the extra mile also. So I got some ready notes by somebody who was very
Oh, okay.
dedicated. Yeah, that helped too. So I'm a little lazy in making notes.
Like any of us.
Yeah. So and then there was also the Facebook group. Becker helped with the, some of the Peter Olinto, some of these professors were really good. And Simandhar also had conducted their own lectures. Some of the professors were available for doubts and clarification. Their notes also helped. But I wasn't always able to sit through those classes because I had my own challenges and something else at
Commitments. Yeah.
home was happening. So COVID also made one more thing easy, because we didn't have that many people visiting our homes. So it was a plus and a minus. While we didn't have support, but there were not that many functions or social responsibilities where you had to go.
You had all the time for yourself to
Yes, yes.
study. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that also. So everything has a plus and a minus. So
Minus.
I like to look at it as an opportunity. So that helped me. Just one needs to be focused and passionate, I think, and be consistent in their
I
preparation.
second that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
because what happened is, I don't think I ever did an extra night out kind of a thing or worked overly long, but then I was consistent. So I think if you're consistent, you do more than somebody who studies a whole lot one day and takes a break the next day. So
It's
I
a
think
lot.
slow and steady wins the race. So
Yes.
that has been my motto. Yes.
So you've not missed even one responsibility as a mother. You've stood strong as a professional, as a mother, and everything. So what advice would you give to mothers who may be considering a career change or pursuing a new challenge but may feel discouraged or overwhelmed?
So one simple thing I would say is, yeah, if I could do it at 52, I started studying at 52 and completed at 53.
You could
You
do
can
it
do
too.
it. Yeah, anybody can do it.
Uh,
I don't want to say that I am any special or anything like that. You just need to want to do it and be consistent, and you can do it. So that is one message I would say. And the second thing, even when I was studying, preparing for it, there are people who encourage, and there are people who come and tell you, why do you need to do it? You don't really need this and that. So you need to listen to your own voice. You want to do it, and that's a reason enough for one person to do it. You don't have to look for a validation from outside. You need to be self-motivated. That is one. Be consistent, be focused. It will happen. I mean, sometimes there was this young mother. I was mentoring a few women also while I was preparing and studying, so people reached out to me. Yeah, so there was this young mother who had a toddler, and she missed an exam by a point or 1 mark or something like that. So I told her, it is not easy to have a little baby who is always crawling and running the house and still writing the exam. And I encouraged her, and she did pass the next time. So you should stay at it, and you can do it. So therefore, I would tell anybody who wants to do it. In fact, that is another thing that I wanted to do, that I wanted to be an example for people, because if I can do it at this age, and also it was daunting because I not only completed CPA, I went back to corporate career. It helped me have that. See, reskilling is an important thing that a person needs to do. If you have had a long break or something, you go back instead of going straight back and looking for a job and getting disappointed or something like that. You reskill yourself. It helps you to have that conversation with the prospective employer, saying that you have the commitment, you have the ethic, you have the interest, and that you have added some skill set. So it helps you to build your own confidence, and you can go and have that conversation, and they'll not have any further questions to ask. So that's what happened with me. I spoke to Pyrin and the leadership, the founder directors, right in the meeting, before the end of the interview or the discussion, they told me, welcome to the leadership in Pyrin. So that's how it happened, and there's been no looking back. It has been
commendable.
Yeah. It was not easy when I went back, because a lot of things had changed. The jargon has changed, the work culture has changed, how you did your how you delivered had changed. Excel had moved a whole maybe 360 degrees from the time I was working. I did operations of my own entrepreneurship. So I was using my Excel, and I had my laptop and things like that, but still a lot of things had changed, much more than what I had expected. So it did take me a little time. I was focused. They gave me different projects to do. So I went back and even did a project management certification, so that because it helped me deliver. And I loved preparing for that as well, because it really upskill. I believe in upskilling, so I think that really helped. I did a few different initiatives also in Pyrin, and I've been very well received, and they gave me a great opportunity, and I think I've delivered. So
You have, like you said, you wanted to set an example for others. You definitely are an example, not just to the women, but to any student, whether he or she is planning to do CPA, CMA, EA, should just look at how your journey has been, and they'll definitely be inspired. So as a successful woman in accounting and a CPA, what are some changes you would like to see in the industry to better support women and promote diversity and inclusion?
Yeah, I would think young women are very fortunate, because this is the right time to be in careers. because there is a lot of talk around diversity, and there is an encouragement for women to be working. It's not just the corporates. There is also a certain amount of maturity in the society. There are parents who are interested in their children's career much more than how my parents were involved at that time. For example, myself, how I have been involved with my own children, we were at least encouraging for them. So from the beginning, for the parents are encouraging, in-laws are encouraging, they're proud to have a working daughter-in-law, so they are supportive. The people understand a working woman. Earlier, if you didn't show up, they would say, why can't you take leave, why can't you come, that kind of a thing. It was very casual, and today they understand that women also have a position and they need to. So, and even corporates are very encouraging. Earlier days, if somebody quit, they just let them go, and today people are trying to retain their employees. They are giving them flexibility, they are giving them hybrid working conditions. So I think there is while company is doing some measures, and the government also came up with this long maternity leave. It's 6 months now, almost 180 days or something, so that is also very encouraging. But I think when women come back to work, corporates need to support them a little more, because it's not just giving the 6 months. It's not like at the end of 180 days your responsibility goes away. People, you still have a small baby at home, so women are, as it is, feeling guilty, are under stress. They haven't had enough sleep. They are on 24/7 with a small baby, and on-demand feeding, nursing, and things like that. So I think some amount of flexibility, short working hours or working from home would probably keep that woman at home. I would also say it's not just corporates. I think for us, like they say, every successful woman, there is for every successful man, there is a woman behind him. Similarly, I would say for every successful woman, there needs to be a man behind, because he needs to be supportive. My husband was very supportive in the way back in 99. He chose the role of a house husband. He was a stay-at-home dad in 99, way before that concept even came. There were times when I did half a day job and he did half a day job to be home with a sick child. Yeah, so we did those, and everybody needs that kind of support. It's not women's career and her job is also very important. So if a woman is happy and she is also pursuing a career, she would be a happy mom, and she would be able to also raise the children very efficiently. The other thing I would also want to say, one message for young women, I think today's women are smarter. They do take some time out for themselves. But as a mother, there are certain things that I did. I always put my children and husband and family ahead of me, but you need to take a little time for yourself also. Please make a self-help group, support each other. If a woman, I tell any, even in my company today, I tell the women bosses, be supportive for your women employees. Make a self-help group so that you support each other to stay at work. Reach out to each other, share your problems. So it helps to come out with collective wisdom, which always help. And then networking, you need to be in touch with working women, so you have some platform to share your concerns and issues. So there is one support from home, and also there is a temptation to throw up a career. I think men don't throw up a career under stress, but women always are thinking of it. And then you go to a husband saying, oh, there you have stress at work, he will probably tell you, okay, it's considered gentlemanly and very supportive husband, why don't you quit? I don't think that should be the right answer. The answer is, how can we make it work? What is it that you need to do? So is it possible for the women to go back to their bosses and have this direct conversation with them, see whether you can do less number of hours if you have a stressful period at home? So similarly, if the woman is not able to get that flexibility at work, maybe the man can go back and see whether he can have some flexibility so that he can support at home. So these are things that one needs to check it out before you throw it. then don't throw your careers, I mean, see whether you can negotiate, take a lower, supportive kind of a role for a period when you are under stress. And then you can come back when you have more time and able to contribute more to the organization. So these are some of the things that I would like to tell the youngsters. So hang in there. It's a long haul. So even with my girls, I tell them, don't get overly stressed. It's a long haul. You need to work throughout. If it is too burning, you need to relook at what you're doing and things like that. So that's a bit of advice for all youngsters. I have so many years I can go on talking, but I must say that Simandhar is doing a great job, and also they do mentoring for people who are having difficulty, and then even I have myself mentored some women youngsters. I have welcomed mentoring. So and Simandhar is there for every student. There is so much of support system in Simandhar. So I think it's a great place to be in. They even support in recruitment and placing the students. So I think no words for an educational institution who is doing all round, right? Personality development, career counseling, support system, teaching, everything, all in one, rolled into one.
Thank you for your lovely words. And we definitely need women like you in the society who are successful, supportive, and encouraging. You have been, your daughters must be really, really proud of you. Having said that, can you share a moment during your CPA journey when you felt like giving up, and what motivated you to keep going?
This when I was doing FAR exam, my paper was especially tough. Okay, I didn't know how. I thought I was well prepared, and I went there. I think what happened was in the MCQs, I took a little longer than I should have.
The time management.
Yeah, time. Yeah. So there was a point when I thought, okay, I'm done. But then I stopped and thought to myself, okay, this exam, the MCQs went so well. I had done quite well. I said, even if I don't make it, let me go fighting down. So why should I give up? So let me just try and do whatever I can. And I then just raced. I think that maturity. So there was that point where I said, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing? Maybe I should throw this up, because it's
self-realization.
Yeah, the speed and everything. So then that little chat to myself where I told that I need, I think it's just that there was that moment where I could have actually given up and then, not pursued it. But then, as luck would have it, I actually passed the exam, and quite comfortably. So, that there was that one moment there at the examination hall that almost caught me. Yeah.
Lovely. That one calculation in your mind at the right time really saved your life.
Yeah.
So on this Mother's Day, what message would you like to share with other mothers who want to join Simandhar education, or maybe just want to pursue any other career? So any message to them?
My message to young women is, don't give up your careers, for one. There are stressful moments, I do understand, and multitasking women are made to feel you can do it all. That is not, while you can do it all, even machines break down. So don't try to do this. Don't try to be a superhero, do 24/7, 365 days a year. Go look for help, put your hands up. Sometimes sometimes you need to have that conversation with your bosses, and then work it out with your husbands, work it out with your parents, work it out with your in-laws, whatever is the situation. talk to them. And many women are made to feel that, hey, there is no need for the money, so you don't need to work. So working is not just about
the money. It's not about the money.
Yes. So you are working for that intellectual satisfaction, having done a professional degree, having done having studied, even whatever be your circumstances, whether you're graduated or not graduated, there are places that you can work. There are NGOs that one can work. There are different opportunities that are available. Please look for it. Find if that is what gives meaning to your life, don't give that up. So keep at it. You can take a break. So women always forget that you can take a break.
You can take a break. You deserve one.
Yeah, you can take a break. The other day, my daughter was saying, she's doing a part-time, she's doing a full-time course, and it's all getting overwhelming. So I just told her, you know what, why don't you talk to your boss, tell him you're a student and it's getting too much and you have so many assignments to turn in. Just pull up your hand and say you need a break. You are going
not happening.
One day break. You're a student. You're entitled to one. You can talk. So similarly, even for women, if you're if it is a hard day or it is getting too much, you can actually take a break and rejuvenate and come back refreshed. So don't just throw in the towel.
Beautiful message to all the mothers that it is okay to not be a superhero and take your own space and time for anything that you want. So it has been a lovely conversation, and at the end I would just like to give a strong message to the audience that she is an example, and Simandhar Education is an organization that provides training and education to CPA, CMA, EA, and ACCA candidates. Our commitment to providing quality education and training is positively changing lives and making a significant impact in the world of finance and accounting. And the lady right here is an appropriate example. Thank you for joining us, Seeta ma'am, and being a lovely guest.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you so much. I was able to give a small message to all the youngsters, young women, and young men also. Don't think that this is a message only for the women.
For the women,
every man who can support his sister, support his mother, support his wife, has contributed to the society. So it's a partnership. Women can be successful with a man supporting. A man can be successful with a woman supporting. So it's like two wheels of a cart. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining, and more than any pleasure, it was an honor for us to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.